tell the social studies teachers or science teachers they're not important because we are. But if there's something that you really don't need to have a meeting with them, then just say you're not going to have them on that day. And I think that might alleviate some of the time that they spend worrying.
Some of the kids are getting stressed though if you don't have it during that time period that they think you should. Just so we're aware of that.
Well, I've been posting on my Google Classrooms in the morning whether or not I'm having meetings or not. And I've already moved to Monday, Wednesday, Friday because I've seen in the 8th grade the math teachers need them a lot more than I do. So I was like, you know what? I don't need them as much. So I'll do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And I put in there, you guys can email me at any time. I'll be available to get back to you during those hours, like during the school hours. So that's been working for me. You know, some of them have been emailing regularly because there's been some things I've messed up and they catch it and they let me know. So that might be a route you want to go and talk to everybody about.
Right. And I've already gotten emails from parents where they said, you know, hey, we're signing off today and it's only 1:30. So, I had a class at that point. So if I wanted to meet with them, that kid won't be there because the parents are like, we've had enough today. You know, so. And that doesn't even account for everyone's got crazy schedules and just.
That doesn't even take account if there's more than one kid too. Yeah. The overlap of time. So I think as we continue to go on, we're gonna see that if there's something you can teach and like there's a Khan Academy video of the guy or the girl doing the same exact thing you're doing with your drawing tool, it might be better for their sanity to just have them do the Khan Academy than you doing it and it having to be at a specific time, especially with the unreliability and all the work we've been doing with trying to get these videos up to YouTube, or it takes 8 hours for it to process when you put it into Drive, and then they're waiting until the next day, and they're behind a day now.
So Trace, what I'm doing every day is I post on like my Google Classroom, like their daily agenda, their objective, and I'll post like what Dan said, like the extra help video, and then I also post my video of like like my personal Zoom. So I do both. Like here's the extra help video. And then also here's my video if you can't attend.
Okay, I like that idea. That's my daughter. I had to get my baby in here too.
Someone else want to jump in with a question or share something that they did this week?
I'll share real quick. So something I did today, it was just like a practice run for them when I had my meets. I did it with both of my language arts classes and then both of my social studies too. And we actually set up like a second tab to do a Kahoot. So we were able to do a Kahoot through the meet. So the only tricky part, and honestly, it was trickier for me to wrap my head around it than it was for them, was just that they had to have the 2 tabs. And I presented it to them so that they could see the questions. And then they had to just quickly go back to their regular tab or their Kahoot tab and then click their answer. But honestly, they were so into it. It was the only time I was able to get them all, like my last class anyway, to be all quiet and everything at the same time. And they really did a really good job. So, and actually Kahoot right now, like the premium edition of it or whatever, not just the regular basic free, but the premium one is free right now too. That's, I guess, one of the things that they're doing to help out with the school closures and stuff too. So my kids really, really enjoyed it. And I thought, like, even during meets, it's another thing where, of course, you get the report, you get, you know what I mean, figure out how they all did it. It could be some sort of even like an exit ticket grade, something like that. Again, it's only limited to those that can, get on there. And they have to, again, be able to do that 2-screen thing. But they were really creative. I had some kids that were on a meet on a tablet, and then they were on their phone on Kahoot. Like, obviously, that's asking a lot. And I just told them, like, if you can't, it's no big deal. You can just sign off. We saved it to the end. But it worked out really well, and they really enjoyed it, too.
Thank you. And Stephanie, I'm putting you on the spot, but something that came up in one of our side meetings that some people are wondering, or if we're starting to think about it in admin, is the expectations for the amount of grades we're going to have to be putting in. And then also, because in all honesty, the kids aren't getting as much of us as they would in a classroom. If there might be a way that the board might consider having a temporary change in terms of like pass fail for grade instead of us doing these, because they're not getting the support they would in the classroom. And like, it's almost like you're proficient, you're not proficient. I don't want to say pass fail. It's like we're getting you to the as best point we can doing this e-learning thing. And we're never going to get you where we'd expect you to be in the classroom. So like, I wanted to put that on your radar. Like, I know some people have been discussing it and the concern about, if we're talking about 8 weeks, we're going to be on in the fourth marking period. What's the grading system going to look like? Are the expectations going to be the same going into the fourth marking period?
Yeah, so I know this is on everybody's radar. I think we're going to, originally, remember, this was starting for 2 weeks, right? And so the guidance was all these learning packets that went home. Not that you were going to be on the hook for putting every single piece of this into the grade book, but, select assignments. Hopefully you kept that in mind as you were planning when it came back, what things I would put in the grade book. Remember, in order for these days to count, we are being held to a certain standard per code where we have to have record of the assessments, the assignments that are coming in. So don't forget that. Like, usually that comes down from the NJDOE. So that's why we do need some of these items. Again, not all, but some of them in the grade book. And I'm thinking we haven't gotten any further guidance from the NJDOE because I think everybody's just up in the air of how long this is really going to be, which really could be upwards of like the month of April. So, we're going to have to then, now that this isn't really going to be 2 weeks, what will that look like? Because I hear you, Dan, the inequity of seeing some kids, not seeing some kids. That's why, we were trying to get devices out to kids on Monday so that maybe there would be more kids. We have hotspots going to be delivered for families, being able to get more families and things what they need. That way there was more of a chance of these kids being able to interact so that we could put things in the grade book. I think we're just going to have to wait to see the extension of this and any flexibility. I don't know that we would go the route of pass fail. It's always worth a discussion. I think there's a lot that needs to be discussed. Trump today just said that he's not going to enforce standardized testing. Waiting to see. He announced that today. I will wait to see what the NJDOE does. That will be helpful if we don't have to have the kids as soon as they come back in assessments, and then more instruction can be taking place rather than assessments. So that will be good news, but I have not officially heard that from the NJDOE. That was something he announced today, but I'm hoping that will come out. So I know it's on everybody's radar. Yes, the admin are talking about that. We probably will get into that much deeper next week. We meet every Wednesday. So I have already put that on Dr. Hoops's radar to put on our agenda for next week, just about marking periods, extensions, grades. But we're going to have to come up with something as far as, whether our ranges are, a little different than what they normally are. But I don't know about the pass fail. I will definitely bring it up as a discussion item.
Thank you. Anybody else with some questions that they'd like to share?
I have a question real fast. Is there a way to do like a Nearpod? Has anyone tried doing a Nearpod like live with the kids?
I have not tried it. I do know what you're talking about, what they are.
I think you can, Kristen. I've heard really good things about Nearpod. And I know a lot of times school districts, if they have an LMS system, like something like a Canvas or a Blackboard or Schoology or something like that, Nearpod is often embedded within that, and it's used as a discussion platform. So I'm sure, are you thinking about using it in a Google Classroom?
Yeah, I was gonna try to use it in Google Classroom in like Google Slides, or even I don't know if you can incorporate like the flip charts, because I know elementary we use a lot of flip charts.
I would try it because I know it's something that definitely gets embedded into some of these other LMS systems. Now, Google Classroom wouldn't be considered an LMS
Right.
platform, for example, but I would give it a try. That's a really good tool, Nearpod. If anyone hasn't tried that one, that is a good one to check out.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out then.
Okay.
I'll try it.
Anyone else? Dan, if possible, can anybody personally? Yeah, you can. No problem. You can email me. I guess if there's nothing else, I mean, I think everybody likes leaving early on a Friday. So have a good weekend, everyone. I'm going to stop recording this.
Thanks, Dan.
See you guys.
Michelle, if you want,
Thanks.
Thanks,
Michelle, if
Dan.
you want to stay on, I was going to bring the baby back.
Dan, do we just stay on for elementary, or do we have to log out and log back in?
Now, if you want to,